Hey guys, today we're going to look at constant of proportionality. We're going to answer the question, what makes a relationship proportional and how can I find the constant of proportionality? So proportional relationships have a constant or an equivalent ratio of y over x throughout the whole relationship. This ratio of y over x is also called the constant of proportionality, and you will see it represented with the letter K. In proportional relationships, there is a multiplicative relationship between x and y. The equation for proportional relationships is y equals kx, where x is multiplied by that constant k to create or to equal y. In non-proportional relationships, which we will look at later, there is no constant of proportionality and no multiplicative relationship between x and y. So if you see this multiplicative relationship, that means that it is a proportional relationship, and whatever we are multiplying by is that constant of proportionality. So we're going to identify the constant of proportionality k and then the equation y equals kx for the relationships below. So let's start with tables. To determine the constant of proportionality from a table, we are going to create ratios of y over x for each ordered pair in the table and simplify. So let's look at number 1. It says the table shows the amount of money a teenager made for babysitting on a certain number of hours. So if you notice, 2 times 12 would be 24, 4 times 12 would be 48, and 6 times 12 would be 72. So I believe that the constant is 12. But the way we would know that for sure is by finding k by doing y divided by x. So I'm just going to verify that with the first ordered pair of 224. So I would do 24 divided by 2 to get the constant, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. So the constant of proportionality is 12, and then remember our equation is y equals kx. So it would be y equals 12x. And that just means to get y, we are multiplying the x value by 12, which we saw throughout that whole table. All right, let's look at number 2. It says the table shows the number of miles a car traveled over a certain number of hours. So this relationship is not as intuitive to me. I cannot think of a number off the top of my head that I would multiply each of the x values by to get the y value. So I will just divide k equals y divided by x. So I will do this first ordered pair, I'll do 110 divided by 2. And 110 divided by 2 is 55. So that means the constant is 55. And then the equation would be y equals 55x. So that is tables. You just choose an ordered pair and do y divided by x to find the constant and the equation. All right, let's look at graphs. So to determine the constant of proportionality from a graph, we are going to select an ordered pair from the graph and then create that y over x ratio for each ordered pair and simplify. So let's look at this first graph. It says the time it takes Maya to pick apples is shown on the graph. So I have an ordered pair right here at 0, 0, here at 1, 4, here at 2, 8, and so on. And I can use any one of those ordered pairs except 0, 0, because I can't do 0 divided by 0. So I'm going to choose the ordered pair 1, 4, and I will do y divided by x to figure out the constants. Remember, this is an x and this is a y. So if k equals y divided by x, I will find k by doing 4 divided by 1. I could have done that with any ordered pair. I just chose the first one. And 4 divided by 1 is 4. So that is the constant of variation, that number that we're constantly multiplying by, and that means that the equation is y equals 4x. Okay, let's look at number 4. It says the cost of handmade soaps sold at the farmer's market is shown in the graph. So I need to identify an ordered pair I can use. This would be 0, 0. This would be 1 and 2.5. This would be 2 and 5. This would be 3 and 7.5, and so on. And I can use any of those ordered pairs. I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to use this second ordered pair, 2, 5. So x is 2 and y is 5. So whenever I do y divided by x to find k, I will do 5 divided by 2. And 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So our constant of variation is 2.5. So the equation is y equals 2.5x. Okay, so we looked at graphs and tables and we just did y divided by x. Now let's look at word problems. So for a word problem to determine the constant of proportionality, you're going to find the ratio of the dependent, or y, to the independent, or x, and simplify. Basically, we're going to be finding the unit rate. So let's look at number 5. It says, Julius buys 10 pieces of gum for $2. He buys another 15 pieces of gum for $3. What is the constant of proportionality and what does it mean? What is the equation? So let's make a table here of the information that they gave us. X would be the pieces of gum. And then Y would be the cost. And they told us that 10 pieces of gum cost $2 and 15 pieces of gum cost $3. So now I just need to do y divided by x. I'll just use that first ordered pair. 2 divided by 10 to find k. That simplifies to 1/5. And if you wanted to write it as a decimal, since we're talking about the cost, it would be 0.20. So it's 20 cents per piece of gum. And then the equation to represent this situation would be y equals, so we found k, it was 0.20, and then the equation would be y equals 0.20x. It just means to find the total cost y, you would do 20 cents times the number of pieces of gum you bought. Okay, let's look at the last one. It says 2 dozen donuts cost $18 and 3 dozen donuts cost $27. What is the constant of proportionality and what does it mean? So remember, we're trying to find the unit rate, how much it costs for one. So I'm going to find the cost of one donut. Let's make a table of the information that they gave us first. So X is going to be the number of donuts. And then Y will be the cost of those donuts. So 2 dozen donuts means 24 donuts, and that cost $18. And then 3 dozen donuts would mean 36 donuts, and that cost $27. So now I can do y divided by x to find k, the constant of proportionality. And I'm just going to use this first one right here. It would be 18 over 24, which I can pull a 6 out of both of those. So it would be 3 over 4. And 3/4 as a decimal is 0.75. So it's 75 cents per donut. So the constant of variation is 0.75, which means the equation is y equals 0.75x.